Hello journaling friends. Welcome to my quiet and cozy little space. Today I thought I would do a flip through of my Hobonichi Cousin for February. I realise we are already in the start of April. However, I had planned to do a flip through of March, and upon looking through my videos I realised I had not done one for Feb just yet, so here goes. This morning, like every other morning, I got up at a very leisurely pace, opened all my blinds, made myself a coffee, and I sat on the couch for, I don't know, maybe half an hour or so, having my coffee and my breakfast, not looking at any screens. Or I do actually walk around my Animal Crossing island, but that doesn't count. But I'm not looking at my phone at all. And then I went for my brisk walk like I do every other morning. And then when I got home, I did a 10-minute weights workout, which I've just started doing at the end of March, maybe the last 2 weeks, I want to say. I do 10 to 20 minutes every morning. And I'm doing that as a little, I guess, experiment to see if I notice a difference in 6 months. I'm going to try and work out every single morning. It's nothing strenuous. I bought a couple of 4-kilo hand weights and I just do, like I said, 10 or 20 minutes worth of exercises. So anyway, had my coffee, went for my walk, did my workout. Now I'm feeling very calm and very relaxed, and my nervous system is regulated. My mind is very quiet. So I thought, what better time to sit down with you and reflect a little on how my month went according to my journal. So the cover hasn't changed at all since the last flip through that I did for January. I have popped this bit of kidder tape here because there's like a smudgy, I don't know what it is, I guess like a glue mark. I don't know, I'm not sure, on the cover, and it's a bit of an eyesore. So I've just popped this bit of tape there to, make it look pretty. Nothing's changed on the inside. Oh, I did stick this sticker from Zoe. Zoe had included this in a letter that they sent me. And I don't know if this cat sticker was here before. This one I got from my friend Nina. I'm pretty sure I haven't added anything to the inside cover. Oh, maybe the cat sticker as well. I can't remember. Anyway, that cat sticker and that one are from the same little set that Nina gave me, which I love. They're so whimsical. And then onto the monthly pages. So I did share the January one in my last flip through. So this is Feb. I feel like the monthly spreads are going to change as the year goes on. I do want to spend time doing daily little doodles, which I did in, I don't know if it's 24 or 25. I did that for a couple of months and I absolutely enjoyed it. I don't know if I could keep it up for the entire year just because of the amount of time I do spend in my journal, as in I decorate the monthly, weekly and daily pages. So I don't think a daily doodle would... I guess I could do it if I really put my mind to it, but maybe I could do it just for a month rather than, have a plan to do it for the entire year. So if it gets hard to do, then I can just go back to my current sticking of whatever I want in the month. I just really love decorating the monthly spread because I feel like it's just wasted real estate. You know what I mean? If I don't. So yeah, I might do some little daily doodles. And I was also thinking of doing something with watercolor down the track. So I could mix it up, month by month. Anyway, so this has just got some produce stickers. I got the idea off my pen pal Laura to make use of these stickers because I'm constantly peeling them off fruit and veggies when I'm cooking or I'm in the kitchen. So now I'm sticking them in my journal. Price stickers, which I just can't bear to throw away. On this day, I received a letter from my pen pal Desiree. This was stuck on the envelope and I just love, love, love it. So of course I wanted to peel it off gently and stick it in my journal. And then that's a stamp that she had sent me as well. So I received the letter on this day, but I opened it on Valentine's Day because why not? So I do, although this just looks like a mishmash of, everything, which it is, I do also stick little things down as a little bit of memory keeping as well. This was just a super lovely day for me. So I don't know if I journaled about it in the daily pages. We shall see. On this day, I actually caught up with a friend of mine, Linda, and she gifted me some origami paper. And this was the little instructions that came in the packet. And as we know, I love instructions. some Japanese stationery ephemera, and then I have 2 little daily flip calendars, one by Paper Message and one by Kin Shiotani. So I can't bear to throw away the little sheets of paper that I tear off every day because they're so cute. So this is from the Paper Message one. They're always super colourful and quirky. And then Kin Shiotani's little messages seem to often resonate. Like, it's really uncanny that some days the little message actually correlates with what I'm doing for the day, or my, what do you call it? Either a little goal or focus, I guess. I don't know. They just correlate frequently. Let's Hide was really just about me hibernating a little bit, which I love to do sometimes, not all the time. And then I'll go on to the weekly pages. So this is also just a mishmash of whatever I feel like. I like to do a little bit of keeping of cute things I see online, I guess you could call it. There's some little quotes that I pop in here, little bits of ephemera. These little sheets of paper that come off my little Muji memo pad, I guess you can call it. I just don't like throwing them away because the paper's really, I don't know, it's something to do with the paper. Anyway, they appear throughout my journal a lot. They're just little, I guess, lists that I make for myself with regards to sometimes making videos or little tasks I want to do for the day or whatever. Anyway, they do not get thrown out. There's nothing exciting in that. Like, I'm not going to read that again, but it kind of just fills the space, and yeah, I just don't want to throw it out. Got some Kita tape and Hitotaki soda tape. And then things that I find online that humour me a little bit, usually on Instagram. Ooh, I also don't have to follow the rules I made up for only myself and nobody else. Yeah, I'm not big on making rules for myself. I mean, I do have, I guess, maybe they are rules. Things like, in the morning, I'm not looking at my screen. I guess that is a rule. It's just a common sense thing for me, not looking at my screen for an hour before bed. I'm trying to extend that to 2 hours. And also in the morning while I'm having my coffee and my breakfast, I'm not looking at my phone at all. So vital for my mental well-being. And I feel like it just sets me up for a much calmer day with my mind not being filled with stuff, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good scroll. Sometimes throughout the day I'll be in the middle of doing things and I'll just grab my phone and go and plonk myself on the couch. And for half an hour, I'm just watching YouTube videos or Instagram reels about journaling. And I just make a point of not getting tempted to click on other things because I know that's just going to lead me down a rabbit hole. So I love a good scroll and I love watching content that I really enjoy, but just not first thing in the morning. And this is another thing that I came across on Instagram, which I just really enjoyed reading. And I thought I would print as a little reminder for myself what it feels like to be at peace with myself. There are at least 4 tall, tasty beverages in front of me. Although I get that, but I'm a one beverage kind of gal. I just have my one drink with me, but I do get it. The voices in my head are singing in 3-part harmony, and the intrusive thoughts that pop up are just fun facts about 90s sitcom stars. My limbs are inflatable dancer at a car dealership loose, but my spine is strong and straight. I see a candid photo someone took of me from my bad side and shrug. I chew on the phrase bad side for a second and spit it out. All of my daily chores feel choreographed to a beautiful piece of original music. I can really relate to that. And my chaotic multitasking is actually saving me time. I find myself content yet ambitious, calm yet flamboyant, rested but ready to pounce. I'm using my curiosity for hope, my imagination for best case scenarios, really have to practice that, and my attention to detail for astonishment. It is 72 degrees, or in Celsius 35, and sunny. The wind is at my back, and the only thing I want is everything I already have. Even just reading that just makes me feel calmer. The only thing I want is everything I already have. So yeah, a little bit of gratitude, I guess you could say. So I love that that's in here because I do come back and read it as I flip through. Unfortunately, I do love being weird. Nothing unfortunate about that. A bit of ephemera for Kewpie packaging. Some more of the Paper Message bits of paper. Again, look at the colour. So nice. Let's think it'll be all right. best case scenario. That's the goal for this year, is to get my mind shifting to that. We're working on it. This one I'm pretty sure I had this in last year's Hobonichi Cousin as well. FOMO is crossed out and it's got RAMO, radically aligned missing out. I don't get FOMO. I actually don't experience FOMO. Perhaps I do. No, it's not even FOMO. If I see people traveling in Japan, you know, friends, family, or even people I don't know posting stuff in Japan, I feel incredibly excited for them because they get to be there experiencing all the wonderfulness that is Japan. I don't know if I feel FOMO so much as it's more joy for that person, I guess. I mean, to be fair, if someone was like, hey, I'm going to give you a ton of money to jump on a plane right now and you've got no responsibilities back home that you need to worry about, I would obviously do that. But yeah, I'm also very fortunate that I have been able to travel there a few times. No FOMO, just joy, I guess. Joy for other people. But yeah, I don't mind if, like, you know, I have plans with someone and they cancel at the last minute. I'm more than happy to redirect how I'm going to spend my time for that moment. We've got a sticker skeleton, another one of the Muji bits of paper. Oh, and this, sometimes I write down little quotes or things that people have said to me that have kind of, I guess, made an impact or made me think about something. So in this case, my pen pal Laura and I were talking about handwriting. I was probably apologising for my terrible handwriting in my letter to Laura. And she mentioned in that little chat about how it becomes, or she had been discussing this with her best friend, I'm pretty sure it was, how it becomes such a comfort to see the unique handwriting of a friend. And it's interesting because I've noticed Laura often articulates things that I think or feel, but I don't or haven't been able to put words to. So this is one of those instances where I've then immediately thought of the comfort I find when I see my best friend's handwriting. My bestie and I have known each other since birth, so we have literally grown up together and we spent our entire childhood together and we are still super close. We see each other regularly. So on occasion when, you know, I get a card from her or even just seeing her handwriting on something, it immediately brings me this sense of comfort. But until Laura had mentioned this, I hadn't actually, put words to it, I guess. It was just a feeling. For instance, I was looking after my bestie's dog for a few weeks and I had to give her some medicine. And my best friend had written the days on the medication packaging, which is genius because I would totally forget if I'd, administered the medicine however many times each day. Anyway, when I saw her writing on that packet, I just had this like a warm, fuzzy feeling. It was really interesting. I remember the feeling at the time and I kind of paused and looked at it and went, oh, that's right. That's what her handwriting looks like. And I just felt this feeling of comfort. I don't know. It was like nostalgic almost. So at the time when I saw that, I didn't really put any words to it. I just had this warm, fuzzy feeling at seeing her handwriting. And then when Laura had mentioned this to me, I knew exactly what she was talking about because I know that comfort feeling from, recently experiencing it. This week, little reminders to myself, don't be too busy. It's okay to be busy. I don't mind working, during wedding season, I'm working pretty hard and I enjoy it. I really, really enjoy it. But don't be too busy. Like I am a big advocate for myself of not filling in my calendar. I have talked about this in past videos where I actually cap my social gatherings or engagements because I know for me, I just need serious downtime. And so I carve that very carefully into my week. So just a reminder to myself, like this week, I don't have anything in my calendar apart from working on the weekend. And I think it's why I feel probably a lot more chill or relaxed this morning because I'm like, yep, cool. This week, we just do what we need to do when we need to do it. So after filming this video, I'm going to get some photo editing done, but I don't have to leave the house if I don't want to for the next 4 days, which is pretty cool. I mean, I will leave the house because I'll probably go to the shops 3 times in those 4 days. Friends with benefits, but the benefit is we are friends. Yes, I am all for my friends with all the benefits. With all the benefits that we really, truly need. Anyway, I'm not going to get too much into that. This week, I did this little, habit tracker kind of thing just for the week after having discussions with my friend Valentine about how daily regular habits can really affect our well-being, or how they can impact our well-being, I guess is probably a better way to put it. So yeah, Valentine gave me some ideas on what I could do every night, every evening before bed. And then she said, do it for a week and then report back. I have forgotten to report back to her, but I have some pretty positive feedback to give to Valentine. So yeah, obviously a little happy face because I felt really happy every day doing what we had discussed. Oh, I got 2,000 friends on YouTube, which I think is just mind-blowing. Still blows me away that 2,000 of you just want to hang out with me here. I love it. So definitely not feeling like this is a solo, alone kind of activity these days, that's for sure. So thank you for stopping by. And as I've mentioned before, I love every single comment. I love seeing comments from you and I love responding to them. And it's just creating this really warm little friendly community here, which is pretty much my whole goal with this channel. So thank you to 2,000 of you. This weekend I got the best news. Oh, even just reading that makes my heart swell. Just the reminder of how I felt when I got the good news, the best news. I think that's the thing that I've discovered with journaling is that when I write things down in here, much like looking at photos, I guess, it transports me back to how I was feeling at the time. So for that reason, this journal, which I consider to be my joy journal, only sees the good things and the good times. I don't write anything that's challenging or any moments that have been difficult for me in this particular journal, because when I flip through, I want to have these warm and fuzzy feelings, like reading this and going, oh, remember that weekend when I got the best news? And just the feeling, how I felt that whole weekend. I mean, to be fair, this was end of Feb and I'm still feeling over the moon joy at the news. Sorry if this is a bit vague. I'm not going to get into it because it's very personal, but it was just the best feeling. And I think having this stuff in my journal means when I'm flipping through, it's giving me a space to feel a little bit of joy again without, rehashing challenging moments. I don't want to rehash that stuff at all. I'm well aware that in life we are always going to have challenges because that's just the way life is, but I don't want to relive past challenges. Not at all. So yeah, that's why I don't write that kind of stuff in here. I do have a journal to write, challenging moments and the thoughts that come with that and the times that I'm ruminating. But that journal, I don't look through that and read it again. It's literally just a space for me to offload the thoughts. And this journal is where I can jot down cute things, nice moments, stick in pretty stuff. So it just feels like happiness when I look through it. If that makes sense. Another produce sticker. I got this really sweet message from one of my viewers by the name of Ava in New York. It was really sweet that they took the time to send me this message telling me that they love my YouTube videos, which is also so heartwarming and lovely. But they mentioned in their message that they came across my channel after buying their first Hobonichi journal, which I thought was so cool. They also mentioned that after watching my videos, their new favourite word was ephemera, but said in an Aussie accent. So I thought that was kind of cute. And they also mentioned that they were hanging out at a friend's place and they had a video of mine up on the TV. And apparently some other friends who were there who were headed out ended up sitting down and they all just curled up on the couch and watched one of my videos, which I just thought was so cute. Really, really cute and pretty cool actually. Like a group of people are sitting in New York watching a video of me just talking about whatever, like this kind of stuff on their telly. Like how cool is that? Again, messages in like your DMs obviously kind of get lost in the pile of other DMs. Having written this here now, it just reminds me so I don't forget that time that Ava from New York messaged me some kind words. And then the last week of Feb, we have more Muji notepad paper, a couple of stickers that I got from penpals, and then just a little reminder to myself to get caught up in the whimsy of everyday life. I popped in a printable from Susanna V. Bryant, QP. Oh, that's right. This week I remember I got absolutely enthralled obsessed, maybe, watching two Japanese skaters that were skating at the Olympics in the pairs category. Is that right? Is that how you word it? Anyway, they had won gold in the pairs skating for the first time for Japan ever. And oh my gosh, they were just so lovely to watch. Like, I was actually crying watching their performances. See, reading this now, I'm just remembering how lovely it was and how wholesome it was just watching them skate. So that is all of Feb in my weeklies. And then for the monthlies, the dailies, I like to decorate the empty page at the start of each month with just quirky, cute, fun, whimsical stuff. All Japanese stationery, of course. My daily pages are pretty much a little mishmash of some memory keeping, some notes to myself, some thoughts, sometimes just something that I've, found really interesting and I want to document it. This was just me talking about how I was starting off the first day of the month, which was the usual for me, having a nice slow morning walk, and I had a productive day of editing and catching up on YouTube videos, so that was fun. On this day, I actually had a video chat booked in for the evening with a client, and I usually, in summer, I can't do it now because it's not warm enough, but in summer I like to go to the beach, usually in the late afternoon, for a swim, and then I'll sit on the grass and read my book for an hour, maybe have some snacks with me. But on this particular day, because I had the evening appointment and I didn't want to miss out on my beach swim, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go in the morning. And when I got there, I was wondering, why don't I do this more often? I know, because I do love to go in the afternoon. It's like my way of finishing up my day, especially if I've been at my desk working all day. But it was such beautiful conditions. The sky was really blue. Well, obviously. It was not as busy as it usually is in the afternoons. The water was really calm, turquoise. I could see fish swimming around. It was so beautiful. Anyway, I kind of just stood in the water and swam around for, probably an hour. And then I just laid down on the sand. Because that time of the day is way too glary and bright for me to read my book, I just couldn't. It's way too bright. I just laid on the sand and just listened to all the sounds until I kind of semi-dried off and then drove home. And it was quite interesting because when I got home, it felt like I had just ducked down to the beach from my beach shack, and had a quick dip. It's a 25-minute drive for me, so I definitely wasn't doing that. But that's kind of what I was daydreaming that it felt like. So that was lovely. So yeah, it just set me up for a very nice, calm day. That's my cat Roger. In the morning while I'm having my coffee, I'm sitting on the couch and obviously I've flicked off my slippers and he's cuddling my slipper, which is kind of cute. This is as affectionate as Roger gets. I mean, I do pick him up and give him kisses and cuddles, but he doesn't love it. He'll tolerate me for 10 seconds, but this is him being affectionate. A little reminder to myself that I have plenty of time for reading my book, watching movies, hanging with friends, journaling, my morning walks, beach swims, leisurely lunch. And I made a point of writing that down because I saw it pop up on Instagram. I wish I had have saved the video actually. It was really so well articulated. Basically, the person was saying that it's all about prioritizing, obviously, what's important to you, but it's also just telling yourself, I have plenty of time for these things. It's just about how I want to spend my time. Do I want to spend 2 hours going down a rabbit hole of watching videos that I'm going to get no joy out of? Or would I rather spend that 2 hours reading my book? The answer's pretty obvious. So yeah, just a reminder to myself. It's also because things like some mornings when I have this plan to get lots of work done, or I have a deadline, so I really want to focus on finishing up a wedding gallery on that particular day. Then in the morning after my coffee, I'll almost talk myself out of going for my morning walk because I'll think, I should really, get stuck into this work and sit at my desk quickly to get it started. There's an urgency to it. But I remind myself that I have half an hour. There's no reason why I can't go for a 30-minute walk before I do all of that. It's been, I guess, a gentle reminder to myself to create time, carve out time for the things that are really important to me. So my morning walk, it's a non-negotiable. I don't miss my morning walk for anything. I had a tradesperson needing to come to my house a couple of weeks ago to look at a broken oven. My oven wasn't working properly. And first they booked it in for 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and I was like, that's just not going to work for me. I don't give a reason or an excuse. I'm not like, I can't do that because of this. I just literally replied and said, I'm available from 10 a.m. because that morning time to me is really sacred. Like that's my quiet and calm time, you know? That's how I want to start my day. I'm not rolling out of bed and quickly racing off to have breakfast with someone at 8 o'clock. That's just not going to do it for me at all. First of all, I'm probably not going to sleep very well because I know I have to set an alarm to get up. With my work, I know I have the luxury of, because I work from home during the week, that I can create my morning to work for me. So yeah, I'm really firm on that for myself, But again, just a reminder that I have time to do the things that I really want to do. I just need to prioritize what's important. I hope that flickering light there isn't annoying for you. Using up the little flip calendar pages because I don't want to throw them out. And as we know, I don't mind an ephemera spread. I don't mind junk journaling. I love it a lot. So yeah, you'll probably see this happening throughout this journal this year because I don't want to throw these little pages out. They're too cute. On this day, I actually went to a friend's house for a barbecue. There were 4 of us there. It was really lovely. It was good to catch up with them because they're also wedding photographers, and obviously we don't cross paths at weddings because we're at our own individual weddings. Although I see other vendors, like the florist or the cake maker and the stylist and whatnot, I don't ever see other photographers. So yeah, we caught up for a barbecue, sat by the pool and ate lots of delicious food and chatted and laughed about lots of things. We got onto the topic of how time seems to go faster as you get older. And one of my friends mentioned that they'd read an article about it, and it's this theory that time feels like it's going faster as you get older because you're creating less new memories. I became so intrigued with that I actually Googled it and did some research. So I'm not going to talk about it now because I feel like this video is just going to get way too long. But essentially, when you're younger, you're doing new things more often. When you're older, or, as life goes on, you become sort of entrenched in daily rituals and daily habits and routines, like I do, my coffee, my morning walk. So what happens is because you're not creating new memories, then time goes faster. However, if you were to document those things, as in journaling, the little happy moments and the little things that you saw and did that are your typical mundane, everyday rituals, it's almost like you're romanticizing the simple things that you do every single day. But I find by journaling them, they are now creating new memories for me because I'm actually paying attention to them. I don't know if this is making any sense. I did write about it in one of my pages, but I think it's in March, so we probably won't cover it today, but I will talk about it at length in another video where I realized that they don't have to be new memories as such, but you can create memories out of the everyday things that you do. Does that make any sense? Anyway, I find with journaling because I am, making note of a person that I met on my walk. When I take my dog out for a walk, I always end up talking to other dog owners because, our dogs, they want to say hello to each other. So I end up talking to people and meeting new people who I see regularly when I'm out walking in my suburb. So now I sometimes write little notes in my journal. Like today I met John, whose dog's name's Henry, and I'll write about our interaction, I guess. And then that does become a new memory. So I don't know, journaling has a lot to say for itself, I think. I'm going to look more into this, but I will report back. Hang on, I'm just going to fix that flickering light thing. Be right back. Is that better? Apologies for the flicking light. I could see flickering at the back here on my screen and it was distracting me. So I was thinking that maybe the flickering light might be annoying for you. So apologies if that was. On this day, I caught up with my friend Linda. Interestingly enough, we actually met at this cafe that was recommended to me by John, who I just mentioned previously, who I'd had a chat to at my local park one day when our dogs were, saying hello to each other. And John had mentioned this cafe that I hadn't been to before. So when Linda and I were talking about where we were going to catch up, I remembered that there was this cafe that I really wanted to check out. So we went there. So had I not stopped to speak to John, I wouldn't have heard about that cafe. But also I got to write about it as a little special memory. So maybe time will start slowing down for me now. That would be good, wouldn't it? During our catch up, Linda and I were talking about how we would love to own an IKEA, like a abandoned house in Japan. And sort of we're talking about that, talking about our daydreams and whatnot. And then when we're leaving, Linda joked and said to me that we'd probably wind up living next door to one another in Japan. And we laughed. But I was also, as I was walking off, thinking, how cool would that be? And on this day, it's just me talking about the beach, how beautiful the beach was. Again, I actually went in the morning again after going, a few days before in the morning. And again, I was swimming thinking, why don't I do this more often? The morning is beautiful. Like the water's definitely a lot calmer. You don't have the afternoon sea breeze. The only downside is, like I mentioned before, that I can't read my book out on the sand in the morning because it's just way too glary for me. And obviously I've just decorated these pages really simple with, Japanese stationery. Pages like this literally take me 10 minutes or 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe, just with some little thoughts of, what I did in the day, and then, just some stationery stickers and washi to decorate it, to give it a bit of colour. A Peko-chan milky ephemera spread. As we know, I just love her so much. So much. I have so much Peko-chan ephemera. I absolutely love Eckhart Tolle. I've read 2 of his books, I think, maybe 3, definitely 2. And I listen to either podcasts or videos, YouTube videos of him talking about presence, living in the present moment, at least once a week, if not more. I actually like total silence when I'm driving. So I either have complete silence, I don't listen to any music when I'm driving ever, or I have something of Eckhart Tolle playing that I can listen to. So yeah, I remember just hearing this in one of the videos that I was watching of him, where he said the balance between being and doing is the art of living. And this just struck a chord with me because, the doing part is easy, but the being part of just like actually being in the present moment for me is sometimes a struggle. Like for instance, last night I thought I'm going to sit on the couch rather than watch, a movie or an episode of something after my dinner. I thought I would just read my book, just a couple of chapters. So the TV was on in the background. I obviously muted it because I was like, when I could hear things, I then got distracted and wanted to look up and watch it. I found myself like I'd read a couple of paragraphs and then I'd look up again to just see what was on the screen. So in the end, I thought, okay, I need to turn the TV off because it's the sitting down. Obviously, it's not where I would normally read my book. Like I usually like to go and sit at a cafe, or I read my book at the beach. Sometimes I read a few pages in bed. But to sit on the couch in the evening and rather than watch something and read my book is not normal for me. It was really hard. Like I just found I kept wanting to be distracted. So I didn't pick up my phone at all because that was after my, designated time of no screen time. But yeah, it was hard. And so anyway, I would like flip through a few pages to see, how many more pages left of the chapter. And it's like, oh, there's 2 more pages, just keep going. And then I'd finish that chapter and I ended up, I think I want to probably say reading for like 45 minutes to an hour. But it was hard. It was really hard to focus and concentrate. I find myself getting distracted very easily. So I'm going to try and do this every night now. I'm actually going to sit at the dining table and read my book with the TV turned off. So that's my new, goal for myself to see how I go. I just do it for a week and see if it becomes entrenched in my nightly routine. So yeah, I just really liked that and I just wanted to pop that in here as a reminder for myself. Speaking of being, on this day, I decided I didn't want to do anything. I actually just in the morning went for my walk and thought, I don't feel motivated to do any work. I don't feel like I want to sit at my desk and do any journaling. What can I do? Why don't I just sit on the couch today and do nothing? Just do whatever. It was so lovely and relaxing. I can honestly say I probably sit on the couch and do nothing like the whole day, once a year, maybe twice a year, if that. I even had a nap, which is unheard of. I just don't ever have day naps. I don't know why, because I thoroughly enjoyed it and felt amazing afterwards. And then in the evening, I went to a wedding vendor event where 2 of my favourite photographers did a talk, and it was so endearing and funny. I got to hang out with other photographer friends. Like I said before, I don't get to see them. Like we don't cross paths at weddings because we're all at our own weddings. So it was really nice. Got to have a drink, have some dinner, chat, and we got to hear these 2 amazing people speak about their craft. and their art and their talent. It was so wholesome, especially after my super chill day. So I felt very relaxed and very calm and very fulfilled at the end of this day because I'd had that time to just do nothing. I do realize how important it is to do that, you know, but yeah, I'll get there. I might have to kind of carve out a day a month where I do nothing. Mind you, over winter, I'm definitely going to have more time to do that because I won't have as much editing to do in the wedding off season. This was a super productive day. You know those days where you get all the little tasks you've had in mind for a while finally done? It was that kind of day, and it was, I just felt so productive and so accomplished. So yeah, just got all those. It's all those little tasks that are tedious and you think, oh, I don't want to do that or I can't be bothered, but I did them all on the same day. Like I remember I had to go and pick something up from a local shop that I'd been thinking about for ages. So yeah, I just went and ran around and did some chores and did productive stuff around the house. This was a very cruisy day. I actually didn't even talk about what I did. I just talked about hanging out on my Animal Crossing island. Oh, that's right. I created a boardwalk space near the pier to my hotel and I made a little, what do you call it? Like a carnival fair kind of layout, you know, with rides and whatnot. And it was really cute because some of my villagers appeared and they just like started hanging out on the beach with a drink in hand. So that was really cute. I don't see them hanging around the carnival much anymore, so I'm thinking I might need to change it up to something else. But it was fun at the time. And I obviously didn't document what I did for the rest of the day, but that's how I spent my morning, I guess. On this day, I had someone close to me doing something super, super exciting, and I was just so happy for them. And see, even reading this now, I just feel very happy thinking about it or reminiscing about it. But prior to that, I had seen this lady talking on Instagram about how when you're going to do things that are like requiring you to be brave, like have a little bit of courage. She was saying that a way to get over that fear, I guess, or through the fear of, you know, or the nervousness that comes with doing something that requires you to be brave. She said, you can tell yourself that I don't have to do this, but I can. And I just thought that was so powerful, as in, you know, I'm just going to try and remember this next time I'm doing something that's making me quite nervous, that I don't have to do it, but I can. Because I think that's, I don't know, it just gives you the power to go, well, I don't have to be in this position right now doing this thing that's terrifying, but I can. It's also making it still a choice for you. Like, I don't have to do this, but guess what? I can. So I really liked that. But yeah, this was just a really lovely day in general for me. I don't know what was going on here. I remember sticking this down because obviously I had thoughts around this, but I didn't write down what the corresponding message, I guess, that I wanted to pop down for myself about this little note for the day. And now I've forgotten. I do keep little daily notes in my phone in the Notes app, you know, just so I don't forget things, because like if I'm not going to sit down and write in my journal on the day, which I don't always do, by the way, I often fill my journal days later or weeks later even. So I pop little notes as little reminders in that Notes app, but I didn't have anything for this day, so I can't remember what this was about. So anyway, this just gets to live on the page by itself, unless I miraculously remember what it was about, which is possible. More of my paper message, little bits of paper. Hang on, I'll show you what it looks like. So yeah, that's it. I love it. I love tearing off, you know, the little page every day. Also just to seeing, it's almost like an advent calendar, seeing what's going to be on the next day. So exciting. So yeah, again, don't want to throw those out. This is a print that Laura sent me in her letter. It's a section of a larger print that she really said she's obsessed with, by artist Audrey Helen Webber. And I love it so much. The characters are so intriguing. Anyway, I was going to stick it in here, but Laura mentioned in her little note, because she has been sending me cute little bits of art that I honestly love every single one of them. And then she'll have a little note that's stuck, you know, with the print explaining who it is or, you know, why she likes it. And in this case, she said, this one is of a section of a large print called Parade, and she said if I like it to let her know and she can share a different section in her next letter. So I was originally going to stick this in here, and then I thought maybe I won't, because I am telling Laura in my next letter that I love it, and yes please, I would really welcome more of it. So if she sends me another section of the print, then maybe I'll stick them together. I don't know, but I ended up being reluctant to stick it in here because I'm thinking maybe I can put it somewhere else where I can see it every day, like maybe on my wall above my desk. But yeah, I've just left that in there for now. Also, I'll just show you another print that Laura sent me, and it's probably my favourite thing at the moment. How adorable is that? Hang on, I've got notes. Hang on a sec. So I have my little Happy Mail log, and I wrote in here what was included in the letter that Laura had sent me. And on this, there was a little post-it stuck to the back of it with a bit of a description about the print and the artist. And she wrote that it's by Japanese artist Kotaro Chiba. And then Laura wrote underneath it, she was fascinated by it because she was wondering, where is Sweater Girl's other shoe? Such a good, cool observation. And also, where is Rabbit Man headed in that snazzy outfit with his carry-on? How fun is that? So, I mean, the print itself is really fun. Like, I love it. I'm thinking I'm going to put it in a frame of some sort. Not a frame like with glass, but some kind of, frame to hold it. And I'm going to stick it on my wall above my desk because I want to see it. I want to look at it all the time. How cool is it? Thank you, Laura. So yeah, Laura's introducing me to some really cool art, which I'm loving. So, yep. Thank you, Laura. On this day, my friend Nina came over for pet cuddles. She wanted to meet my dog and my cat. And while she was here, we did a stationery swap, of course. And she actually gave me this super cute squirrel figurine. It's actually fluffy, which I just love the texture of. With that came this little brochure, which obviously I wasn't going to throw away. So that's the one I got, or the one that Nina got and shared with me. So that obviously got stuck in there for that day. And then she also gifted me a box of Godiva. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. Collab with Animal Crossing chocolates, which also came in a really delightful tin, and I collect tins. I love tins. So that was lovely. The chocolates were good too. And we went out for lunch and had a Japanese meal, which was delightful. And that's just me talking about, what we did and the stationery. And there's some like little bits of stickers that she also gifted me, and some washi. Obviously, this also gets written about in my Happy Mail log too. On this day, I had seen this post on Instagram that said a 2-week digital detox improved people's ability to focus by an amount equivalent to reversing 10 years of age-related cognitive decline. I was like, okay, I need to research this. This is deep dive material. So anyway, went straight to Google. So apparently there was an experiment conducted whereby a group of adults blocked access to the internet on their phones for 2 weeks. 91% of participants saw improvement in at least one area of mental health, well-being, or attention. I totally believe that. And they showed improved sustained attention comparable to reversing 10 years of age-related cognitive decline. By removing the constant always-on stimulation of phone browsing and social media, the brain is able to rest and recalibrate. And not to mention, and I've written this in my own words, obviously, from what I could find online, and not to mention what we can do with the time not spent on our phones. And then I jokingly wrote Grab's book. Again, I love my phone. I love Instagram. I love YouTube. I love scrolling, yes. But I have been guilty, I guess, of just constantly grabbing my phone. I actually looked up one day how many times I had picked up my phone in a day, and I was astounded by the number. So obviously I pick it up for things like I'm checking my calendar, when I'm at my desk working, I have my editing software open on my laptop or my screen, my big screen, but then I'm picking up my phone to look up other things, so I'm not switching screens when I'm working, if that makes sense, because that can be really distracting as well. Like you switch your screen to Google out of, say, Lightroom, and next thing I'm like, I don't know, looking up what date some actor was born because they came to mind. So it's a bit of a slippery slope. So when I'm editing photos, I just have Lightroom open and I'm not flipping screens on my computer. So then my phone obviously does all the heavy lifting when I need to look up a date or check if I'm available on a certain date, if I get an email coming in with an inquiry. I don't know, there's all sorts of reasons why I pick my phone up. But when I saw the number of times that I had picked it up in a day, I was astounded. So I'm trying to reduce that number. I definitely have reduced it. Actually, I should go back and check that now. I feel like this experiment explains stuff that we already know, definitely. But it was really interesting for me to look into it. And I found by just even writing all this down, it sunk in a little bit for me. If I just read the article, I'd be like, yeah, cool. And then I would forget about it. Whereas now, like even now, I'm talking about it again. And it's reminding me to grab my book at night. The good news day I was talking about earlier, just, heart swells. We need more good news in our days, don't we? See, if I'd written something in here, like on a different page, obviously, where I'd had a challenging day, I would not have the same kind of feeling that I do when I look at this. This actually was a paragraph in a book I'm reading called Last Night at the Telegraph Club. I've tried reading this book 3 times. I take it out from the library. I don't finish it. It goes back. I take it out again. I'm on the 3rd hiring of this book from the library and I'm determined to finish it, which is why I am trying to sit at night on the couch with the book. Anyway, when I read this, it really struck a chord with me. She stood at the diner gazing at the city lights, each a glowing ember marking someone else's life. Again, going back to the whole someone else putting words to feelings for me. So when I'm traveling, and in particular when I've been in Japan, I love staying, if I can, in an apartment or a hotel or whatever on a high floor because I love to look over the city at night. I just love having that like access to views of cityscapes. I don't know why. I'm a city gal, But yeah, I love being high up. And at night, you've been out all day, you've been in the hustle and bustle of what's going on and you're out in the streets and you're out in the shops and you're out at restaurants around lots of people. And I find sometimes for me anyway, I'll get back to my accommodation and you can almost feel quite isolated. So often I'll sit and just look out the window and I'll just look down into the street, and see people walking. And I remember on a trip to Paris, I saw a guy carrying a cello down in the street below. And it was so, I don't know, it's just like these little hints or insights, I guess, into people just going about their everyday. I really enjoy it. So when I saw this, it just reminded me of me. I've done it recently where I've been in my hotel in Japan, just looking down into the street and just watching people. There's people walking around, you might hear some people laughing and then someone goes by on their push bike. It's just, that feeling of solitude and feeling isolated, but also having a bit of an insight into the lives of other people in a very distant way. And they obviously don't know, you know what I mean? Like I could be walking down a street one day and someone's looking out of their hotel window and they spot me. Reading this just reminded me of that feeling. On this day, I caught up with some wedding vendor friends. They're actually girls that I used to share a studio space with a couple of years ago. So we caught up. It's always really hard for us to coordinate a day to catch up, as in all of us. So there were a couple people who couldn't make it, but yeah, it was really lovely. We obviously sat there for hours having long overdue chin wags. And I remember my meal was so yummy. So obviously I always take a photo of my meal on my phone. So that deserved a printout. Super chill day. I usually try and take Mondays off. I try to. So chill morning with my coffee. I mowed the lawn this day, tidied up the backyard. And yeah, it was obviously really sunny. So I love being in the garden when it's sunny. Took the dogs for a walk. Oh, and I mentioned here Sunny. I was actually babysitting Sunny. Had been playing with another dog named Brian. Is that the funniest name or what? I love it. So sweet. Another super productive day. I tidied up the garden again, but this time I actually was pruning this like hedge that I have along my fence. It was so sunny again, couldn't help myself. And also like because I had mowed the lawn the day before. Was that the day? Yeah, I'd mowed the lawn. The yard just looks so nice when the lawn's just been freshly mowed. So yeah, it just encourages me to get out there again the next day. And then I spent the afternoon journaling, talking about the view from my window when it's really nice and sunny is so nice. Gave my dog Missy a bath, which she doesn't love, but then she also got a bone, which she does love. And then a cute little photo of Sunny bringing me toys. She was visiting for a couple of weeks. And yeah, she kept bringing her toys to me, which was so sweet. In the evening, I'd be sitting on the couch and she'd just come up and plonk her toy in my lap. She wouldn't let go of it. She'd just put it in my lap with her mouth still on it. So that was really sweet. Another gorgeous print from Laura. Oh, on this day I woke up to a storm in the middle of the night and I wrote, which was so lovely from the comfort of my bed. You know that feeling when you're like snuggled in bed and you're really warm and you're kind of half awake but still definitely more asleep and it's stormy? So nice. Anyway, in the morning when I got up, I was about to go for my walk and it was sprinkling, and usually I think I'd just be thinking, oh, am I really going to walk in the rain and want to turn around and go back inside? But I actually just grabbed an umbrella and put on a jacket with a hood and I went for my walk anyway. Did some admin, tidied up some journal pages that needed finishing, and also tidied up my desk, which so needed it. My desk was an absolute shambles and it was discouraging. Like I didn't want to sit down at it because it just looked so messy. And like, to be fair, I think it probably took me like 20 minutes to fully clean it and put everything away. Took the dogs for a walk at sunset, which I do every night. This is just following on from produce stickers, except Laura had mentioned that, or I think she sent me a photo of a page where she sticks all the stickers down on one page. So as much as I do have them scattered throughout my monthly spread, I also realised that the monthly spread would probably just end up being fully covered. So I started to stick them down in here. I love that it's got a yellow, orange, red theme colour scheme going to it. We'll see what that looks like when I have finished it. Last day of the month. This was just writing down things that tickled me, which is basically just things that have stood out and kind of put a smile on my face, I guess. That summer smell in the air. Like I remember one day just walking out of my front door and it was like 37, 38 degrees and that summer, smell just like hitting me in the face. Oh, I love summer so much. As we can see, I'm now wearing long sleeves, so it's getting cooler here, which, I mean, there's things to enjoy about winter as well. We're still in autumn here, but, I'm looking forward to winter as well. There's a lot of good things about it, but I'm a summer gal through and through. So that summer smell in the air, love it. Sunny bringing me her toys, which was so, so cute. I started watching Bridgerton at the recommendation of my friend Nina, and I was a couple of episodes in and I heard a string quartet start playing Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. I was like, what is happening? Because I did not know. I haven't looked up anything about Bridgerton before watching it. Like I didn't know anything about it apart from it was like a period series, but obviously quite fantastical, if that's the right word. It's a fantasy. It's not realistic, I know that. But I didn't know much about Bridgerton apart from, the basic context of it. So I didn't know about this whole like modernization of the music in it. So I heard Bad Guy. I'm a huge fan of Billie Eilish. I know Bad Guy, like I knew it from the first note that I heard. And then I just, in my head, I had like white shirt, now red my bloody nose. That really tickled me. I think I like rewound. So what do you say for? I mean, we used to like rewind a video. Oh my gosh. What is it when you go back in like a streaming format? Oh my gosh. I don't even know what the word is. Anyway, I rewound it and watched it several times because I just hearing that song being played by a string quartet was really, tickling me. The two sleep theory. This was so fascinating. I actually got chatting to a friend about sleep patterns, and I was talking about how, I am just naturally a night owl. Like, I love going to bed really late. There have been times or periods where I'm going to bed at 1 or 2 a.m. Obviously, I have the luxury of doing that because I don't have to get up to an alarm in the morning to be in the office at a certain time or whatever. And I can work my hours around my sleep, which is fantastic. But I'm also not a morning person. So for me to be getting up at 6 or 7, it just would not suit me at all. I have tried to go to bed earlier. I've tried to do the whole, let's reshape this and go to bed at 10 and get up earlier. If I go to bed anytime before 11 p.m, I wake up at midnight. Like, I've gone to bed at 11 and then just woken up at midnight and not being able to sleep because, that is obviously my sleep rhythm pattern, circadian rhythm. And everyone's built differently. Everyone has different sleep patterns. I get that. But apparently this two sleep theory is that back in I think it was the 17th century, pre-industrialization and artificial light, people would sleep in two parts. So they'd go to sleep at, I think it was 9, 10 p.m. They'd wake up at midnight, which is literally what would happen to me if I went to bed at that time. Naturally, I would wake up at that time. And then they spend an hour or two in the middle of the night reading, doing chores or praying. And then they'd go back to sleep and then have their solid sleep in their second part of their sleep. I found this so fascinating. So, of course, when my friend was telling me about it, I did a little bit of research, as I do. And it turns out that this all changed to what we know now as, you go to bed and you have your 8-hour sleep, if you're lucky, in one chunk, came about by industrialization and the introduction of the 9 to 5 workday. I just found that so fascinating because it's why do we have to go to bed at a set time, sleep 8 hours, and then wake up at a set time? I mean, again, if you have to get up for work or whatever reason or school in the morning, yes, I get it. But as a whole, why don't people just sleep in a way that suits them? A lot of my wedding industry friends, because, we all work the same kind of hours, I guess, and a lot of us work from home during the week when we're not at weddings. We have the luxury, I get that, of being able to craft our sleep around our preferred hours of working. So for me, it works well because, I'm going to bed about midnight-ish. I'm waking up about 8 or 9 in the morning. And then I'm doing my usual morning rituals, my coffee, going for my walk and whatnot. And then I'll be at my desk, by about 10:30, 11-ish maybe. And then I'll do my 6-7 hours of work at my desk. And there's no rush for me to start working because it doesn't matter what time I work. I get it. I get that my sleep hours would not work for everyone, obviously. But also this whole theory of having that smaller part of sleep, doing things in the middle of the night and then having the big solid sleep later sounds really good. However, for me, if I wake up at midnight, I'm not getting out of bed to do chores. There's no way in the world. Because on the occasion where I have woken up in the middle of the night because I've gone to bed too early, I just feel so snugly in bed and I do not want to be getting up. But I love the theory, and I love that once upon a time, people did sleep in a way that was more conducive to non-9 to 5 workday hours. So yeah, I just found that really fascinating. Horses, 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 horses from Sleepless in Seattle. Just one of my favourite little scenes. I love Meg Ryan so much, and I love when that scene comes on, if you know what I'm talking about. Turquoise water at the beach really stood out to me because as much as I go to the beach frequently, the water doesn't look like that usually at the time that I'm there in the late afternoon. So that just really stood out to me. Talking to neighbours about the weather. Lol. Yes, I don't mind a chat. And if I've been sitting at home working all day at my desk and then I go for my walk with my dog in the afternoon or the evening, I end up chatting to other people, as I mentioned before, that are walking their dogs, and sometimes we talk about the weather. I love it. I love the mundaneness of it. It's just so simple, A dog named Brian. Yep, Sonny played with another golden retriever named Brian, and I just thought that was the most beautiful dog name. I love it. Funny. And that's it for Feb. That was really fun. It was really enjoyable to go back and look over my days and see what I got up to and the little reminders that I make for myself. So thank you so much for giving me the space to do this. Thanks for hanging out with me. I know it's going to be a long one. I'm not even going to apologise. It doesn't matter. If you're still here, thank you. If you feel so inclined, say hello in the comments and let me know, how did you go in your journal for the month of Feb? I feel like how I started my journals at the start of the year, which is only 3 months ago, has really stuck for me. I'm really, really happy with how I'm using my Hobonichi Cousin and also my Traveller's Notebook. So I'm getting so much out of this. I love it so much. Anyway, thank you again for stopping by and for hanging around. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.